Yeah, so what to expect in this session is, because this is a very practical session, in step one is the fundamentals of redesigning a UI design, right? You already know like the title and you know what was there, but this is how this whole session will go. I'll tell you guys about the benefits of redesigning a UI, the basics of designing a UI, and my own very key strategies to create amazing redesigns. After that, we'll have a live design demonstration, and we'll just design um, different hero sections, try to improve them, and see how we can do with that, right? Then we'll go into a more practical insights of um, the redesign, right? Then if you stay to the end, we'll give like a bonus, which is a pro tip and premium design resources. Yeah, so that will happen, when we are done with this. So this is mostly like practical class. We'll see, we'll go through designing. Any questions you guys have, you can ask it when we are done with the designs, but you guys will see everything as is happening, right? So yeah, the very main question is benefits of redesigning a UI, which is like, what why would you have to redesign a UI? Because you wouldn't just come and you see anything and you want to redesign, right? You have to have a goal and a reason to want to impact into this UI. You can't just go and see maybe a design that for through the years, sorry about that. So through the years, people have improved, maybe people even with more experience than you, maybe like for example like the Stripe landing page, and you're trying to redesign it based on you having better. It has to be something that you feel like you can improve, right? Like you can enhance the user experience, align with the brand. um that's you want to align better with the brand. Maybe you have like a newer brand identity and stuff like that, or you feel like this is like old design trends is using, and you want to adapt, or you want to improve on that, right? Other benefits of redesigning could be to um improve the functionality and the performance, right? Because like when you're also redesigning, you can look into things like increasing the load time, uh increasing the conversion rates, right? So good design converts. When people come to a landing page and they see it within like the first few seconds, if they like it, they would stay, right? But if it's not, if it's something that's confusing to them, they could just bump off, that type of thing. So we're trying to understand reasons to redesign and stuff like that. So here are the basics, and these are things that before you redesign I don't know what I'm doing. Before you redesign it could be a landing page or a product or whatever. These are things that you need. These are like objectives to check. These are things you have to look forward to, right? You have to do your research, analyze the product first. Then you need to look out to know if it's as simple as it can be. Because like, while designing, something I usually like, or something I usually look forward to, is like, you see different ideas and try to put in the most simple form possible. Then hierarchy, also making sure that the different design elements are positioned based on their importance or based on their hierarchy. I'm not doing I'm not teaching you the whole fundamentals of design. These are things that I'm sure we have come across. I'm telling you how to improve what is currently there, and how to, these are things that these are the basics you need to look out for, right? So you can go ahead, and I can go ahead and talk about like the balance, the alignment, and all of that for yeah, those are like basics of design. So I hope that we do know that, but if we don't, then we can always like look into the basics of design. Well, these are things that we should always check out for, right? Also the accessibility, because people could like switch up on that or like forget it. So this is something we have to make sure that we improve, and it would greatly affect our design. So yeah, accessibility, making sure that um, we are designing it in the best way possible. Also, optimizing it is also part of accessibility, and also checking the people using it and making sure it's usable for everybody. It's also part of it. So these are my own key redesign strategies. These are things that would take when you look out for this. So we'll talk about this step by step. But when you look up around this, you'd see that you can greatly take your designs from just normal level designs to like very, very good designs. And when people see it, they're happy, right? Like, human beings like visuals. People also like things being very neat and organized. And these are ways that we can look into making our designs to stand out, right? So during redesigning, the first step is getting inspiration, and it's something I do. I have like a couple. So some of the links where I get inspiration are Pinterest. I get my inspiration from Pinterest. For landing pages, I also do the SaaS landing page. You'd see like a bunch, because like the point of getting inspiration is, you know, getting ideas from a whole lot of designers that have been doing this for years, right? And then Steve Jobs also mentioned that um, good designers copy, but great designers steal. So, that's something he said. He's not trying to say that you have to steal directly, or like he's just steal people's work. That's not what he's saying. He's saying the great ideas can't be stolen, right? Like you can, use great ideas when you see them. So one of the most important things is getting inspiration, guys. Like you need to know that the type of inspiration you get will greatly affect the entire project, right? And then typography is something that people kind of like neglect, but like your typography has a lot to do with your design. So you can keep it simple. I like to keep my typography simple. You could use one typeface, to be honest. People try to use plenty, and they end up like doing all these crazy things, and then they like mess up with stuff. But I like to keep my own simple. I like to, one font is okay, to be honest, except you could just like mix up one or two if you want, but I like to keep my own like super simple. Then spacing is very important as well. When you want to improve those designs, I use the 8-point grid. And then I also like you guys to also look into like proximity very, very well. Like these are like very core concepts that make our redesigns better, right? Then color. One thing I like to do about my colors is, number one, I like to have the highest contrasted color to be in the most important thing on the design. And that's like, let me be showing like some sort of visuals, right? So over here, this color, right, is like very high contrasted. This, and it's like you're trying to tell them, hey, we want you to click to get started, that type of thing. So it's very important that we have those colors like in strategic places. You can see here, this is like not everywhere. This is like the main color that they want you to click on this section. And then you see how it stands out. Likewise here, you can see how this stands out. So usually I double around having this to be like in a 10%. So when this color is here, you don't have to have it everywhere. It has to stand out really. So that's one other step to make your designs, you know, go from normal to, very, very good. And then visuals take like 50% of, what your design or what you're redesigning is. So when I say visuals, I mean like your design assets and stuff like that. So it's very important. You see something that has like 50%, something that can break your design or make your design really. So something that we need to like take our time to research on and make that. And it's good because visuals are now everywhere, so you don't have like any excuse to not have great visuals. So there's Pexels, not the design school, or there's Pexels, this is a community of resources for images alone. So there's Pexels, there's the Figma community, there's a lot of them. There's Spline, there's Midjourney. Midjourney is like an AI creation where I think there's version 6 now, and people are like creating awesome stuff with that. So with Midjourney alone, you can create like a whole lot of good visuals, right? So these are things that can make your designs very good. So if you grab all these things I've mentioned here, already you're seeing that your when you put this into focus, you're seeing that your designs can really start looking good. Then when you start adding things like this, these are like better like ideas to keep in the back of your back of your mind or your palm, whichever one. You see that this can also greatly improve your design. Like focusing on minimalism. Minimalism is also very important. Is keeping your designs. They say less is more really, and it's true. It's something that you need to always like put in your mind. Then the next is don't be too predictable. Don't try to just always do what you see. You can have the freedom. Like I see design as something that should be interactive, right? So you can be free to don't do too much, but then again, you don't have to exactly do, because then you're getting inspiration. But you also know that yes, I have like I can go outside the norm and create something that would stand out, right? I'm talking about like visuals here. You're like be comfortable to do some few creativity on your own. That's not too much, but it's not around things that you've seen all the time, right? And then details. Details is when you're redesigning stuff, when you want to, you see, you could come here and add details about anything really. So when you're redesigning something and you add like extra layers of small details, people might not notice them. They might not even understand why this thing is beautiful, but you the designer know the details, like the extra spices you put inside the design. You get what I mean? So it's important to look for like details. And then the next is depth. When redesigning personally, I always like to see designs to have depth. When I say depth, is having things to be like maybe on top of each other in a way. So let me look for some stuff that has depth. You see where this thing is, for example, you see how this guy's hair, this afro hair is behind this, but then this is on top of the hair. When someone sees it, he's like, this thing is fine, no? But it doesn't know that you as a designer was thinking about putting that depth so that this is on top of this. You see this here? It looks like this is on top of this. Just some tiny things around depth to make your designs like, look super awesome, to be honest. So I'm looking more for this. Okay, so you see here, this looks like it's on top of this background. Those are things around depth, really. And it's one simple thing. You see, it's simple, but like you can take your designs to look like very, very awesome, right? So would you like, this is a practical class, so we'll walk through all these things, and I'll just show you how like we can create good stuff from there. Okay. So the last one is find a concept. So you want to redesign something, you have to think like a creative, because as a designer, you're creative, right? So you should think around the concept of what you're designing. So say you're designing for a book website, for example, you should think around things around books. Okay. Then maybe based on the product, you can say, okay, this is a monkey that went to pick up a book in a library, or you can just something like you can give meaning to what you're redesigning, even if it's not too much, but there can be some sort of backstory around your design. And the hero section is one place that you can do all this, because it's where people would come into first and decide if they'll continue your website or not. So that's basically it. So we're gonna get into redesigning now. So I based off of these things that I said, the basics and my key redesign strategies, I'll show all of this to you guys in play now, right? So this is Figma open, and let me show you how I usually redesign. So this is a practical class, and I'll be looking for auto redesign basically. I think I was going through some bad, yep. So I came across this blog with some sort of bad design examples. Let me copy this image and see what we can do with this. So this is a website, right? This one is looking very funny. And the first things first is we'd try to improve on this, and we'll try to look around how we can improve this, right? So based off of what I told you guys about the steps and what to look out for, we'll do that. So we'll start with getting inspiration, just as I explained here. Now, before that, let's look at this design. Let's see what is good about this design and what's bad about it. Okay. First things first, the whole here, the whole header. The whole header is, nothing, is not organized at all. We can improve on this, to be honest. And the idea of the hero section, it says 100% blended fruit juice concentrate specifically designed for childcare centers. Okay. Fruit juice concentrate. Okay. I'm not really sure of this header, and we can change it so that it's more, because you don't want to, this is like you explain a lot of stuff to start with. So we would make this shorter and more straightforward, right? So let's go into ChatGPT and tell it to let's start with that. Let's hear that, because like we're trying to make this convert. This is not the burst, so we're trying to make it more understandable. So 100% blended fruit juice concentrates specifically designed for child care centers. So we'll tell ChatGPT, this is a headline for a website, and I want to improve the copy as the headline copy to be short and compact, that make it a few words. So this is what I'm looking for. Obviously, we can do better research than just doing ChatGPT, but just for like, it's not loading up. Hope you guys, are you guys, are you guys still with me? Okay, yeah,
Yes.
awesome. Just making sure. So, where was I? Okay, why is not working on network? Let's see. All right, so pure fruit juice made for kids. Oh, this is sweet actually. I love this. This is sweet. So, it's not new. So we've gotten that. Let's just do desktop. Um, I like to have it in 1440 so that it's responsive in all areas. Then, I'll show you guys two methods of doing this thing, right? And like a quick method. And all we can do is let's go on to my favorite place of finding inspiration, search for fruits, juice, websites for kids, and see something around that.
You
All
know
right.
this website you look at and you interact with. Do you get? That's what I design.
So it's a lot going on here, right? Um, so one way to redesign it could even be like very, very quick, and it depends on the project. Because like sometimes you see yourself like when you're with your experience, sometimes you see yourself you're given a deadline, create something real quick, and you need to do that. Then you don't have like all the time. Maybe you're working in an agency setting, you don't have all the time to um take your time to do so much research. You can just redesign something real quick with this method, right? So we bump this into here. We would use this as our only way of inspiration, right? So this is just a very quick one I'm trying to show you guys. So based off of this, we get the logo, get this penny juice logo. Hmm.
Oh,
This is what you're giving me. Really, Canva has a better way of removing backgrounds,
so
but
I think you can see your screen.
you can see my screen.
Now. Okay, I can see it. We can see it now.
So please tell me when you can see my screen. Okay. All right. So we'll use this, right? And we are gonna just use this exact design just the way it is. All right. So it has, you see the use of depth here. You see the use of minimalism as well. You'd see the use of the fonts and all of that. So these are things that makes it come alive. So because we have this light blue and we had issues with removing this background, we could just make the entire thing to be this color so that we are all in the same aspect. Got it. Then this over here has home, childcare, and choose. So we'll do exactly what we are saying here, to be honest. Let me punch this down a little bit. Then we'll have text, home, child care, choose. So this is home and childcare juices. Not really sure. I think let me just add an extra one that says about, because we are doing something very quick. So we'll have this here. Then you see this whole vibe of having like thick shadows and the strokes. We're gonna replicate it to this. Give it totally out. Give the top to be 16. That's too much. Give it to be 8. Then give here to be 24. Fonts. Okay. Okay. Then we'll give it a stroke. Give it a fill. And then we'll give it that shadow that it has. So drop shadow 100%. Zero glow. Yep. So give it the fill. And we have something looking like this, right? You can increase this font to 16. I like to be doubling around 14 to 16. 14 is fine. Then Shift A, Shift A, Shift B. I'm copying and pasting the styles, right? So we have this over here. And then for the other now button, we just do that like this. Position it to be somewhere here, right? So give it all done now. This. So this is looking good. Looking good. We'll add it to our auto layouts. However, we are trying to make this in the middle, right? Okay, there's no spacing, so it's 0. And then we're trying to, so if you look here, this doesn't look very much balanced because of like the size of the text. So we'll just keep a consistent style. 109, 109. Okay. Well, it's better off making this shorter instead of. Can you see my screen? Ah, okay. Some people can see my screen and some people can't. That's
No. Like they can just pin it. Yeah, pin it the screen.
okay. So it's not my network's fault. Okay. So let me go ahead then. All right. So this one is the top now. So put it along here, align. Then we space, have it auto. But then you see this is not in the middle. That's because like the size of this is longer than this. What I usually do is make them equal. So the width on this is 286. I'll just make this to be, so I added a frame here. It's let me be short. Oh yeah, I added a frame here. So Control G, make it 286. Just have this to be at the end. All right. So this is in the middle now, right? Then just the way we have this. What was that text that's given to us from ChatGPT? It says pure fruit juice made for kids. We'll have it because we have this behind it. It says pure fruit juice made for kids. So this is a good use of bolder fonts. we're gonna do that as well. We'll have this like this. Then give it like 82, 84. Or we can make this bigger ourselves. Just looking okay. Then how I look for fonts is usually different ways. When I see a finance website that I like, I usually go like, so for example, if I see um let's say I see Framer's websites now and I'm looking to steal the fonts. I have this plugin that I use. It's named Fonts Ninja. So it analyzes the fonts for me and tells me the name of the font. So that's that way I can know the font that's being used. I like a font, I just like steal it, right? So that's a good way to steal fonts. You can also see a font you like and go to what is fonts and try to look for similar fonts that are like that. So that's how I get my fonts. But for this one, we'll just look for a font that just kind of like gives the vibe that we are looking for. Okay, this saw something that could, yeah, this works. This works for me, to be honest. It's good. Let's see. Pure fruit juice made for kids. Well, so you see now we are trying to just do what they have here. We are not breaking the wheel or doing too much. We're doing like exactly what they have, right? Let's give this in a vertical trim. Yeah. Use this to 250. Reduce the size because like this 250 like yeah. So yeah, this is kind of giving the vibe we're looking for. But let's increase it a little bit. Yes. Then something I usually like is when I'm working with bolder fonts, I like to reduce the line spacing, even if it's just by 2%. So negative percent, right? Because when you're using smaller spacing and you want to make it readable and legible in your designs, you'd want to increase it. But when you're working with bolder spacing, you can see this is readable, right? So I like to use negative something. 1 - 1 is fine. Then you see we've used our inspiration typography. Then when it comes to spacing, I usually use a 4-point grid. This 8-point grid is 4-point grid. But I usually use like a 4-point grid. And what that means is all my designs are divisible by 4. Like the spacing I'm giving between them are divisible by 4. So when I come here, if when I have like spacing between this, start with 4, although because of the size I gave this thing, it's giving this one. Let's not worry about that now. But I make it divisible by 4, and it could be 4, 8, 16. So even in my buttons, everything would be divisible by 4. So that when I was working towards creating the auto layout here, I made it 16. I made it 8 by 24, right? So that's how I do all my designs. I'm already used to it. So when you keep doing it, you get used to it, and you see that all your designs would look consistent like that. Your spacings, your borders, your padding, whatever. You use the 4 or 8-point grid system. It's very, very important. Then yeah, we have this down. Stuff like this. This is an orange, and this is a picture of a guy. So we can use assets from pixels. Let's look for this guy. This is the guy, so we're not going to use this guy. We're going to use children. So we have this, and then we'll go to pixels. Look for Jews, children, that type of tagline. Jews, children, what else? Yeah, smiling. Oh, they've seen Jews. Yep, this is a good picture. Uh, so we'll just download this real quick. Drag it over here. Right. So we can use Canva to remove the background, but we'll use what we have here, and based on time, we'll just crop this, and use this guy here. Remove BG. You just me the first time. You're doing it again. Let's work with this. Okay. Yes, I could use Photoshop and make this better, and remove all the. But we'll just work with this, to be honest. Okay. Now, I told you guys about depth. The depth can go behind, and in this case, doesn't look really good behind. But yeah, we'll just work with this, to be honest. Okay. And the contrast isn't working enough for me. What I can do is to and work with this image. Let's try one more. Let's try one different image. Never give up. Never give up. Let's look for one that can work well with this. That's not doing too much. So I'll try you. I'll try you. Preview for reload.bg. Do your work. Look for the next one. Someone alone. Okay, so what we can do is PNG baby smiling. That's what we're gonna do. We're looking for a PNG, right? Okay. So let's see how this one works for us. Science. So we have this. Let's look for downloading the PNG version of this. Because Remo.bg is okay. Don't tell me it's pro anything. Small still pro. Everything here is pro actually. Okay, so we'll look for another one. I log in, will you guys allow me to download this? I joined, and I'll say I should join Enterprise. Okay. Nice clickbait. Something else, please. I'll use a small video. PNG egg. Okay. Let me use this one. Ah, finally. If I can get something better. Everybody's doing premium today, even free pick. Wow. Okay, so let's see, this one has finished downloading. It hasn't. Mm, ah, thank you, Lord. So we have, and you're not even a PNG after downloading you. So PNGs are images that don't have background. So that's what I'm trying to get. Okay, so this works perfectly. Fruit juice made for kids. However, this text cannot be read, so we're going to reduce it, and then we're going to add a CTA, creating depth, right? Made for still readable, increase this a little bit, made for kids. And then we'll add a CTA just like this one down here. Actually, on top of it should be to make this stand out. We'll get the color from this logo quickly. Yes. Then creating that sort of depth as well. We'll give it a subtle shadow and 12 and 24, or just put like a rectangle just for the sake of time. Have this behind it. So I'm gonna put this behind it. Reapply 120. Make it blank. Yeah. That depth two. So the shadow is a lot, so we'll reduce it to be like 52 or 32. Yep. 32 is giving it a nice subtle look. It looks a bit too much for me, so I'll give it 24. Okay. Okay. This does not stand out, this color. So yeah. Then we can add things from free pick just for the finishing touches. We say choose um juice oranges. Uh, let's just see what it brings. Let's see if there's something anything we can work with. Uh, vectors. Okay, that's just premium. So we can generally get assets from here. Then just to add the last details that I talked about, just adding extra details. This one you can now like play around with it by yourself, right? See what works for you and the design. So you could come here. Let's say do this. Can keep some on top, just to create that depth that I taught you guys about. I'm trying to have this to be around the text. Use another one. That's the creativity I was talked about. Just not always trying to follow exactly what's there. Just like trying to keep them over this text as well. Just saw the same. Oh, let's do this. Yep. Okay. So we can have some of them to be beneath and some above, right? So it's just giving that whole nice, playful vibe for kids. Then I'll just be like made for kids. So there's a lot to read here. So I'm going to adjust this just so that we can we could work on the copy better and make it shorter, right? But so that this image can come well and come on top. So say pure features. Actually, they should even be pure features for kids. I think the image is doing enough description for to make up for the lack of having kids. So pure fruit juice. Then I considered using this as more details, based on trends. There's this blur that we can use for it. So have it be like this 120 and 160 is fine. And having multiple places as well. 82. Just beneath it. Just very subtle, like 52. Okay. Let's make a different one for this to be But then red doesn't go really well with this, so we could use 5. Okay, no. So we have this black color. We're now looking for colors that match with this orange. And now we can keep it simple. We can keep it simple. And I have it. This. Okay, so let's look for different layouts because this layout doesn't really go well, in my opinion, for something like this. So we can have it like this. Ah, this is perfect. Perfect. So and this can go. Okay. So yep. So other things we can think around when redesign is like the type of animation that can come to it as well, and all of that. So yeah, this one is looking a lot better, and based on some extra details, we can still have like put some images here because we removed it for kids, so we can just attach more details to it just so that the users know this is definitely for kids. So this this give it a layer blur. Sorry, give it a gradient. Switch this up like this. Then I can do it. Okay, so then we have some curved edges here, so we'll just add that to this as well. Let's say 12 could give it more, more of the same vibe, right? So then those pictures that we threw away that we didn't use, I'd love to use them again, but I can just bring out something else. Let me just look for pictures. Those pictures that did us bad in the beginning, that wasted our time. Uh, let's just go to Excel. So juice, children. And you're one of them. So let's use you better. See what you do here. Okay. Um, this boy, like they're all using having this blue color. Something, you know. Where did you not end? This I stock, okay. Final one. Let's use this. Cool. Give it another shadow. Two. Just subtle stuff. Subtle stuff. Subtle stuff. So yeah, this is it for our redesign. All right, guys. I'm open to questions. I use good use of imagery here. I use the good use of fonts, the typography that I mentioned, trying to make it bold as well. I use design details. I used making it minimal and just trying to use only effective elements where they are needed, right? This one's bold. So yeah. And then this is not the best, but like this is just to explain how these things could be improved based on so someone will come here and uh, probably see this to be better, right? So yeah, obviously if there was more time we can do more, but I want you guys to understand how you can redesign things based on the different things that I showed you guys, the different strategies. So yeah, like I said initially, it is iterative. You can always come back, redesign it, make it better. It's not definitive. Yeah, I'm open to any questions that you may have. So you can raise up your hand. I'll call you up, and then you can ask your question. All right, Modupe, you can go ahead.
Thank you. Good evening. Thank you for the class. It has been very inspirational. I
Yeah.
wanted to ask the header, the three buttons in the middle at the top.
Yep.
When you started designing them, they were of different sizes, and you edited one of them and you copied the style and pasted on the others. How did you do that, please?
Okay, yeah, so it's a Figma command.